7 different counties.
Yes, there's 7 different counties, yes, ma'am.
And then I couldn't hear after that, and it was before the Fayette County 38,000. I just want to make sure I heard correctly.
The ones that have said they're at or above capacity and cannot hold inmates.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that. Could you say that again? I just couldn't hear.
It was Fayette County, where is it? Oh, Scott County, Fayette County, Franklin County, and Franklin County. They say they have no bed capacity. I see Carol. Okay. Carroll's a small jail. Right? You only have like 80 inmates. So is Scott, to tell you the truth.
Thank you. And according to DOC, the day to close the facility was October the 8th on a Saturday, which is the 90 of the 120-day timeline that
Right.
we had set out.
What would happen if you ran to the October 8th deadline and we had no place to put our prisoners? Is that a conceivable thing that could happen?
Right now, the discussion I've had, if we don't have a contract with another facility by October the 8th, prisoners will be pulled out of the Grant County Jail, and Rodney Ballard will place them. If we don't provide a place for them, Rodney Ballard will find a place for them at no matter what expense that they come up with. We can't control that. Folks, I'm so disappointed. For 20 months we've been fighting this. Kicking this can. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to close the jail, since I've got a law enforcement background, but I voted along with everybody else to close it. But the reason I wanted it closed, or not necessarily wanted it closed, we had a financial burden to the taxpayer of Grant County to have that facility. For 20 months, we fought it. We did everything in our power to put money in it, to keep it going month to month. We spent $1.5 million on renovation, trying to keep that place updated. And I apologize to the folks of the county, but as of this day, I don't know if they've completed all of that, if all of it has been brought up to speed. I've talked to the Jailers Association. Chris, Jailers Association told us that each county jail, they've had at least 1 or 2 maintenance people working for their facilities all the time. Hey, they said it was a must. I'm on record a year ago asking you to get a maintenance person, not necessarily a hands-on maintenance person, someone to go there every day and critique what's going on, give us an update of what needs to be done, and we just kind of, we're beating a dead horse. Right now, you know, the closing of the jail is nothing, no more than financial. It's turned into a circus. It's turned into a political circus, what it has. But you know, we've got to do everything in our power as a fiscal court to make it work. We cannot make it work. unless we all work together. We need to be updated daily, from the jailer, from the judge and the deputy jailer. You know, we can't make decisions on spending money when we don't know the big picture. You know, I wasn't here on the 6th when they had a meeting. They voted not to do this. After talking to several people, I'm glad they did it. It needs to be done, like the judge said. We got to keep that facility running. But at the same time, we cannot spend money not knowing the full picture of what's to come. You know, the jail staff, they're in limbo. You know, we're trying to make decisions, but we can't make decisions without the proper data. We cannot vote on no monetary issues on a day-to-day basis without knowing the big picture. We need a plan. We need a working plan to let us know what it's going to cost us to keep it, what it's going to cost us to get rid of it, and I have not saw that from nobody. And I'm disappointed, and like I said, I'll stick my head in the noose, but we have got to move fast, just like we just heard, August the 8th. I don't care what we vote on tonight. October the 8th, we can vote on anything we want to tonight, and it still ain't gonna be done by that date because of the work that needs to be involved. But like I said, you know, as a magistrate, and I think these ladies are thinking the same thing I am. We cannot move forward without some a plan, a game plan. I can't vote on nothing that I don't know what's going to affect the county. And I tell you what, I've been on vacation, and I had to come back. I had to come back early because I got a phone call. That's no concern to y'all. But anyway, I'm just disappointed that for the last 20 months that I've been a master in this county, that it has got to this point. There's no excuse for it. We're better than that. And until I get some kind of a formatted plan that gives me some kind of dialogue to base my vote on, I can't vote on nothing. And I'm sorry, you know, if I'm on the wrong page, but I mean, that's what's been going on. It's just, if we don't have a contract with one of these other facilities within the next week or so, Rodney Ballard is going to pull the county inmates. He's going to put them wherever he pleases, and at the expense of ever what they charge. If it's $80 a day for prison, Rodney's going to do it. And we, as of right now, we're clueless. I'll get off my soapbox.
I mean, just judge where I'm at with this, as I have also, you know, asked for updates related to where we're at. So I thank you for sharing that with us, because that was the main reason why Tuesday night I did not feel compelled to make a motion to vote on anything, because all the data still hasn't been collected. And from what I'm hearing, as you have just stated, that according to our cost analysis that brought us to this decision, once the state inmates the Class D inmates were to be evacuated, you know, with the email that was sent back in July shortly after the new budget came, I feel compelled that now that additional data is coming back that's showing that there is not a facility that could house our prisoners. It doesn't look, you know, that's close within. There are facilities, let's make that clear, that could house us, our 70 to 75 prisoners, but the cost analysis was based off a couple things would need to come back true, you know, within a certain, you know, mileage from that standpoint, which a lot of that's out the window now. And then we'd also talked, you know, could we potentially privatize? Well, it's coming back that, you know, the facility's too small, that it would need to be much bigger, so that's not panning out. And other things as the list goes on with the cost analysis. And I feel like the best thing to do would be to rescind Resolution 1610, continue to bring this facility up to speed, pray that better relations and better communications take place, and that we bite the bullet like Mr. Newman has said. Like, we're already up against a wall. We've got, roughly 3 weeks, and regardless of what we do, we will continue to be at the mercy of someone else, despite the fact we had best intentions on looking at this from a better financial situation, and data's not coming back that you've shared with us this evening that leads me to believe that it's a better financial decision. And before I vote to spend any money, I would rather see the Resolution 1610 be rescinded, and we work to bring the facility up to meeting life standards, to the point where it could still be a full capacity jail, and we continue to work, potentially regionalization with other counties.
Well, that's the other option you know about. I haven't said anything about that.
Well, I mean, that's always been an option, and I feel like we should declare, I feel like we've been exhausting many options, and we could not have done that. I also feel like the situation, taxpayers have been now fully enlightened financially on what we've been dealing with. And as I've stated, through the cost analysis, things haven't came back, and we knew that we may be here. And so, again, just to reiterate, like, where I'm at is, I think that we should rescind Resolution 1610. We should declare that so far things are, panning out, that financially it's not the best decision, and that we need to stay the course with keeping this facility, bringing it up to speed. Pray that the amount of state inmates are beyond the 255 inmates, so that maybe we could help make up some of the revenue that previously, even last year, that was lost. And, like you said, policies and procedures get approved, and we could put this behind us for whatever in the heck has happened. And I almost cussed, but I stopped myself.
Well, no,
I mean,
well, Chris and I were subpoenaed by the grand jury. The things we presented to y'all the other night is something that we were told we had to do. That's all I'll say.
that's all you'll say?
Well,
I couldn't hear you.
Well, I mean, we were, Chris, weren't we?
You were.
Huh?
Did you say?
We were subpoenaed.
I'm sitting right here.
Mr. Crawford told us what he expected us to do, right?
Yes, he did.
He was pretty clear too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
That's the reason that came to y'all last week.
And that's still, truth or not the truth, I don't have any reason to deny that, but still factually, when you think of, the cost analysis on how we went down this path, so far, things aren't panning true to where it would be more cost effective to close the jail. In addition to the fact, when you really think about the work that's still yet to come in addition, in the next 3 weeks, even if we found a county to house our prisoners within, close jurisdiction as far as geography is concerned, the cost is probably going to be so astronomical, but we haven't even began to tackle the transport of prisoners. If law enforcement is arresting folks, and by the way, we're closing in 3 weeks, how is that going to work? When we're no longer, according to DOC, would be using 212 Barnes Road. We'd be taking them to wherever Department of Corrections tells us to. What are you thinking?
I'm listening right now. I'm absorbing the sponge.
And reality is, Steve, I recognize every day that passes is another day the work isn't being done. I get that and I fully understand. And also, in reality, every day that passes, as speaking with Ms. Mintrop today, is another day that a vendor, an agency, may not entertain going over there, because we've exhausted so many folks that have done services over there that no longer return back there. I mean, so that is a real situation for me too, is to address, the current life safety situation that, we currently have inmates there, and I recognize that, the quotes that Steve's gotten.
Why don't we, Scott and I were talking, get the numbers together and meet again, especially meeting Thursday night, y'all meet, we'll throw more numbers at you, make a more solid decision.
As far as like a critical path schedule or action plan or something associated with that, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that, because that's what I've been asking. We've been trying to piecemeal together, things that we get from you, tonight's update, and, that's where I'm at.
There are basically 3 scenarios
Yep.
remaining, and we'll prepare a financial report on those 3 scenarios. And the revised cost estimates based on the outline that the jailer submitted. The jailer did submit a complete outline of repairs, as well as, there's 2 things you have to do. One is life safety, to keep the facility in operation beyond October 8th.
Right.
And the other is, if you have any hopes of bringing state prisoners back, then you have to meet the plumbing and the HVAC and a number of other conditions. Those issues are important in running a county jail, but they're absolutely essential if you're going to try to run that jail as it was operated in the past, taking state prisoners in. And we'll have those 3 scenarios lined out for you on Thursday for you to make a decision based on that.
In your research, Scott, could you also check in to find out what I mentioned a few minutes ago in regards to the $1.5 million renovation that we had placed, what was supposed to have been entailed in that? Because some of the things that we're having to fix should have been on that to-do list.
I don't have a report for you, but I can assure you, we've gone over that list, sir, and the issue that we're dealing with right now with the smoking back, which is the last life safety issue to deal with at the jail, you have contracted for. Back in February, you awarded an $18,000 contract to Silco to fix that system, and they've tested it 3 times and it's failed 3 times.
Well, shouldn't they be held accountable and?
Yes, sir, and the judge was on the phone with the electrical engineers at KLH Engineering 3 times today.
Now, I meet him at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning in jail too. Well, if that's okay with you guys, that's, I'm going to have that motion. Okay, we'll just,
Thursday night, is that?
yeah, whatever, yeah. Okay, all right.
What time?
The judge are asking for time.
What time you on?
5 o'clock?
That's fine, and just you're gonna bring us the data, and then at that point in time, hopefully, we can make a motion to declare something at a special meeting, or when you put out the agenda, that way, we don't lose any more time too.
You feel the edge to do something even if it's wrong.
Well, that's what we've been doing. And it's not panning out.
A little bit of an update on the executive report. The fans on top of the facility are not getting energized. That's what the problem is. We found a box that's doing a lot of clicking. I know it sounds crazy. We sent an electrician over, he thought that was a problem there, but I don't think that's it, so we're gonna meet tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I also want to say, remind you once again, the walls coming in, Vietnam walls coming in, I hope everybody attends. It's going to be in the Williamstown city building parking lot. And I may have mentioned this last time, and I'm so proud of Les Whalen. He won an award. We went to it, Scott and I did, in Louisville, as the most improved emergency facility in the whole state. And he did a heck of a job, and we're gonna get a picture in the paper about that. He did a really good job.
Good for Les.
Yeah, I was real proud. I've never seen him in a suit before. I didn't even recognize him. He said he stopped and got a suit for $44, but he looked good on him. Looked good on him. Okay, I'll open up citizens' address if you want to say anything.
I can speak loud enough, Judge, I think you can hear me. I just want to say, you know, I haven't agreed with everything you've done, I agree with everything Chris does. But this has not been on your problem right off the bat. This has been, and nobody's said it. I've talked to Bill and I've talked to Pete Whalen. This has been a past administration. This has been an ongoing
I
problem
know that.
for 20 years or longer. And, you know, I hope you all will come together and keep this facility open, because it needs to be open for the taxpayers. I mean, either way, it's gonna cost us, but it's something we need.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate those comments.
I'd like to say something. I heard Bobby say that he didn't make a decision unless he knew what was going on, okay? I understand that, it's a good idea, but you closed or made the proposal, you closed the jail without knowing what was gonna happen.
Hey.
The whole thing, let me finish.
I can't hear you.
The whole thing was, you made the suggestion and passed the motion that you're gonna close the jail without knowing the impact. So it's a bit late to say, I'm gonna do it because I wanna know everything about it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything you said, but I caught most of it. That's the reason I like to come up to the mic. But, okay, anybody else got anything to say?
You want me to repeat myself? What is it?
Now you come up to, please.
My name's Dave Rose, just a concerned citizen. I think to make a good decision going forward, you have to know what the history is. And what I would ask the court, and I started off up here thinking 10 years, but I'd like to go back just 5 years and look at the cost of running that place over there on a yearly basis, what it actually costs the county to run it. And get rid of all the smoke and mirrors, and what was the bottom line each year for the past 5 years, not counting last year. I'd like to go 10 years and see, because I think we're all just blowing out there. And I'd also like to find out what it would cost to run that place for like 65 or 70 beds, period. Just for the Grant County, and shut off half that building, see if half of it can be shut off, and what does the staffing have to be to run just for Grant County? Because, folks, the purpose of government is to protect its citizens. It's not to make money. And the old administration back in 2000 that came up with that jail plan had visions of sugar plums dancing in their head, making money.
Yep.
You know, and it isn't going to happen. And all that stuff was hidden. Whatever the actual costs are, you're going to have to peel back the onion and really look at the numbers to get good numbers on this. And the old court didn't want anything to do with that place over there. They let the jailer run it, supposedly, but yet they sat here and they approved the hiring of each person, and they also approved the pay increases. So, the way I look at it, the jailer is an elected position, and he's the manager of that place over there. And he's the overseer. But there's a CEO that's in charge of that whole thing, and that's the court. So they have to work together as a team, but the court has got the bottom line as the dollar spent over there. and they have to approve all that. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from. I think in order to really see the future of that place, what have we done in the past 5 years before the new court came in and we had all this thing, you know? Do we have legitimate numbers that we can go back to and use for reference? So
Sure
I
thing,
think-
David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I know I brought this up last week. I've been asked to present this, and I'd like to have it on record in front of the meeting, because we simply cannot get answers. There's a couple of people that would like to see a different group come in.
Different group come in?
Yes,
How many got here?
a couple hundred.
25,000 people counting in there.
There's more in circulation that we could get on here.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so difficult to say yes or no. We've had well over half the time.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay.
I've got one thing to, go ahead, Bernice. I didn't think you was gonna get up there, I was gonna talk to you.
Nobody's talking about the jail, I'm not talking about the jail. My family owns property at the end of 725 Flat Creek Road. And I noticed, taking care of my mother, that the road department does not take care of the end of the road. And when I